The Battle of Willow Creek Ranch. The piercing wail of the perimeter alarm shattered the dawn stillness of Willow Creek Ranch, a sound so sharp it could wake the dead. It wasn't just a noisy, it was a call to arms. Crows scattered from the cottonwoods, and my quarter horses, Rusty and Star, reared in their paddock, hooves pounding the earth. I nearly spilled my mug of black coffee as I leapt from the porch swing, my heart hammering. That alarm, wired into a system I'd built myself after years as a Navy logistics officer, meant one thing. Someone had tampered with the eastern cattle gate. And whoever it was had no idea what they'd just unleashed. I sprinted across the dew-soaked grass, my work boots kicking up dirt, my mind racing. This wasn't about a gate. This was about my land, my animals, and the delicate balance of life I'd carved out here in Harper County, Montana. As I crested the hill, I saw her Eleanor Pratt, the new president of the Pine Hills Homeowners Association, standing by the gate with a smug grin, a clipboard clutched like a shield, and a cheap padlock dangling from the chain. She'd crossed onto my property, bold as brass, and locked a gate that controlled my horses' access to their grazing fields. Eleanor had been a thorn in my side since she moved into the gated community bordering my ranch 6 months ago. She'd filed complaints about everything: manure odors, my roosters crowing, even the unsightly cedar fence I'd built to code. But this was war. She'd stepped onto my land, messed with my livestock, and triggered a system that didn't just beep, it roared, alerting me and the county sheriff's office. As I stormed toward her, a nervous kid in a rented security vest stepped in my path, holding up a shaky hand. I'm 6 feet 3 inches, still lean from years of hauling hay and wrangling stock, and I wasn't slowing down. One look, and he scurried aside. Eleanor didn't flinch. She waved her clipboard like it was a court order. "This gate's a safety hazard, Mr. Harlan," she snapped, standing 5 feet inside my property line, ignoring the private property sign above her. "Your horses are too close to our community. I've taken corrective action." "You locked my cattle gate?" I said, my voice low, steady, but carrying the weight of a Montana storm. "That's not decorative. It's a livestock system. You've cut off their grazing path and set off an alarm that logs every second of this." She smirked, unfazed. "The HOA has jurisdiction over shared boundaries. Your animals are a nuisance." Before I could respond, a sharp whinny cut through the air. Rusty and Star were kicking the temporary fencing, dust rising like a fog. The gate's closure had confused them, and stressed horses don't just stand there, they fight. "You're endangering trained animals," I said, stepping closer. "This is private land. That lock is illegal." Her eyes flickered, but she doubled down. "You're overreacting," she muttered, backing away from the gate. Then came the rumble of tires on gravel. Sheriff's Deputy Laura Gaines pulled up, her cruiser kicking up dust. She adjusted her hat, already looking exasperated as she spotted Eleanor. "Morning, Tom," she said to me, then turned to Eleanor. "Ma'am, we've got a report of unauthorized tampering on private property." "That you?" Eleanor puffed up. "I'm protecting our neighborhood." Laura cut her off. "This ranch is under County Code 512. That gate's part of a registered livestock operation. Locking it risks animal welfare violations." She pointed at the padlock. "Remove it. Now." Eleanor's face turned crimson. She fumbled, then admitted she didn't have a key. She'd snapped the lock shut without thinking. I grabbed my bolt cutters, sliced it off, and whistled. Rusty and Star trotted through the gate, relieved, their tails swishing. Laura warned Eleanor to stay off my land and leave. Eleanor stormed off to her golf cart, muttering about lawsuits, her dignity in tatters. That night, I sat in my barn office, the glow of 4 monitors lighting the room. The system had recorded everything: Eleanor's trespass, the lock, her every word. It was time-stamped, admissible, and ironclad. I opened a file I'd jokingly called Plan E after her 3rd complaint about my barn's paint color. It listed legal defenses, signage ideas, and a few petty but legal ways to make her think twice. I wasn't just protecting my ranch. I was building a case. The next morning, I heard the HOA's monthly meeting buzzing from their pavilion across the field. Curiosity got the better of me, so I lingered near the tree line, watching. Eleanor stood at a folding table, her floral dress and oversized sunglasses screaming self-importance. She'd propped up a poster board with blurry photos of my horses near the fence, captioned with nonsense like livestock encroachment and noise violation. She spun the gate incident as her heroic stand against a rogue rancher, claiming my alarm was a weaponized scare tactic. A few residents nodded, not because they believed her, but because Eleanor ruled the HOA like a small-town dictator. Cross her, and your mailbox got cited, or your roses were suddenly non-compliant. She proposed a rule banning livestock within 30 feet of the HOA fence, which would choke off my horse's grazing path. One board member hesitated, asking, "Isn't that on his land?" Eleanor brushed it off, claiming community aesthetics gave her authority. I'd had enough. I walked into the tent, carrying a folder of county maps, deeds, and a screenshot of Eleanor locking my gate. The crowd hushed. I handed the folder to the board chair, Walt, a quiet retiree who usually let Eleanor steamroll him. "These prove my land's boundaries," I said. "And that photo shows your president trespassing." Eleanor sputtered, accusing me of intimidation. Walt cleared his throat and tabled her motion for review. I left, feeling the first crack in her armor. Eleanor didn't stop. She planted neon, "No livestock after 6 p.m. signs along my fence, fake, unenforceable, but designed to confuse. Then she sent 2 HOA inspectors to poke around my property, snapping photos of my water trough like it was a crime scene. I stepped out, phone recording. "You're on private land," I said, then tapped a controller. A speaker blared, "Unauthorized access detected. Event recorded." The men bolted, tripping over their clipboards. I called my lawyer, Sarah Klein, a former DA who loved dismantling petty tyrants. I sent her the footage, the signs, and Eleanor's meeting rant. She filed a cease and desist against the HOA and a personal liability notice against Eleanor. Then Eleanor escalated. She hired a dump truck to pile gravel across my northern access road, blocking my tractor path. She stood by, smirking, as the driver unloaded. "Community safety buffer," she called it. I filmed it all, knowing Sarah would have a field day. I didn't argue. Instead, I activated Plan Bronco, a trick I'd devised with my nephew, Nate. Eleanor had left an HOA gate open while hanging another fake sign. That gate connected to an old, legal cattle trail running through their land. I whistled a signal too short, one long and led Rusty and Star through the open gate, right across HOA property, to their northern pasture. Neighbors gawked as the horses trotted past, calm as you please. Eleanor caught wind of it and stormed the trail, waving her arms and yelling about fines. A kid caught it on video, her flip-flops sinking in mud, her screams echoing. It hit the HOA's Facebook group, captioned, "Horses 1, Eleanor 0. Comments piled up, praising the ranch and mocking her signs. Even Walt commented, "This isn't what we're about." The tide was turning. Then, animal control showed up, citing livestock endangerment. I walked the officer through my pristine barns, vet records, and grazing logs. He nodded, impressed, but spotted something else: Eleanor's backyard, where 2 ferrets paced in shoddy cages. "Those aren't registered," he said, scribbling. "And those cages fail code." He knocked on her door, and her shouts about emotional support didn't sway him. Sarah called with more. The county confirmed Eleanor's gravel dump was illegal, and the truck company said she'd lied about owning the land. Then Eleanor filed a state complaint, claiming my cameras spied on her yard. I sent the state my footage angles fence lines only, never her property. They dismissed her claim. That night, my alarm tripped again. Monitors showed Eleanor, in a hoodie, trying to paint over my warning sign. I hit the floodlights. She froze, then fled, tripping in the mud. The speaker blared, "Welcome back, Eleanor. Smile for the camera." The footage went viral in the HOA group. An emergency HOA meeting followed. Residents, fed up, voted Eleanor out. Walt took over, promising to work with me. I hosted a ranch open day, with hayrides, barbecue, and Star wearing a daisy crown. Neighbors came, laughed, and ate. Peace settled in. Sarah called one last time Eleanor had tried a final complaint, claiming my ranch was a surveillance hub. The state laughed it off. Then I found a note in my mailbox: "Watch your barn." I turned it over to the sheriff, who filed it as a threat. The HOA issued a public apology, and I hung a sign above my gate: "Don't mess with Willow Creek." Eleanor faded away, her signs weathered to nothing. Walt and I met monthly, keeping the peace. But I never turned off the cameras. Peace isn't found, it's guarded, with gates, horses, and a system that never blinks. What do you think? Was Eleanor's behavior just petty, or did it cross into something darker? Have you faced injustice or bullying in your community? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear where you stand.